on yesterday, but I didn't come back on. I think I just read a little bit more of the Bible, and then I had, took it down because I had to be up today for work. So, I don't know. On my way home today, I was just thinking, like, okay, what's something that I could talk about? What's something that I could talk about? And it just popped up onto me to talk about maybe generational curses. Um, I had looked up what was the difference between sin and generational curse because at one point in time I was thinking that they were both the same, but I know when I looked it up, and even though it could be wrong, because I looked it up on the internet, but it said that a sin is one individual's own actions that cause them to go in destructive go into destructive patterns or behaviors. And then it was saying that a generational curse is passed on to generation, a generation, a generation. But then I'm like, okay, so that one individual, their destructive patterns that cause them to go into different ways that can cause them to teach the next one, the next one, the next one. So it seems like that sin falls into that. It falls into that generational curse. I don't know. I know for applying it to myself and my life and my family, like I can see where that is because it's like the ones prior, like my mother, and then before my mother, maybe my grandmother, or maybe even other generations before that, where they had some things happen, and it's like it continued to be the same thing because it was taught over and over and over and over and over again, and nobody chose to break that pattern. Nobody chose to teach, the next generation differently. So, me myself, I take it upon myself to do things differently from how I seen my mother do things, or maybe a little differently from how I see my grandmother do things, or just even just observing from the outside, seeing how people do things. If I don't think that is right, or I feel some type of way about it, it's like, okay, I'm gonna be different. I'm not gonna do that because I can see in what type of I can see I can see the direction that it can lead things into, and if it's not so great, why would I even want to do that? Um, but just even with thinking with the Bible with Adam and Eve, it's like, okay, started with, disobedience. So it's like the more I read and I'm reading the different stories, it's like, okay, Cain and Abel, then you continue to go on and on and on, and then you read about, the Israelites, you know, being led from Egypt and stuff like that. Is everything seems like it's falling under disobedience, disobedience, disobedience. It's like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. So it's like, is the curse a curse of disobedience? And and in order to get lifted from that curse, do we have to obey to come from underneath that? I don't know. To me, it makes sense. I don't know. To you guys, it might not, but to me, it makes a lot of sense in a way, because it's like the only way that you're going to end up doing good or going in the right direction if you obey. Like if you don't follow the traffic signals and stuff like that, you just run lights. What's going to happen? You're going to get in an accident. If let me see, I can't think of another example right now, but that's the only one I could think of. But it's like, say if you don't take heed to those traffic signals, you're going to get into an accident. So it's like you have to obey the traffic laws, or just the laws in general. If you go the opposite direction, it's not going to be so good for you. Um, that's just something that I was thinking about today. Um, there's more that I wanted to say on it, and I was thinking about it earlier, but it seems like everything just left my mind. I was trying not to write it down because I'm like, I don't want to look at the paper and go back and forth from it because it's gonna end up taking me off somewhere. I'm just going to try to just let it flow and talk about it and see how it goes. Um, I don't know. So, like for instance, me and myself and my family, it's like my mother. I'm not going to talk bad about her, not like that, but there was some things that I felt so that she could have did differently. Like she could have been around more. She could have did this. She could have did that. And even though I don't think that I picked up any of those traits or behaviors, I feel like by me trying to be so much of the opposite from her, that I did pick up some other type of behaviors that could have been a little destructive. Not bad in a way that to where it can destroy something, but something where it's taken not only from me, but it's also taken from, what comes after me. So it's like, at a certain point, I started to think like, yeah, I need to change this. I need to change that. I need to do this differently because what comes after me and then what comes after that, which will be my grandkids and my great grandkids, I don't want them to have those same patterns or behaviors. I want them to be different. I want them to be able to have more than what I had, more than what my child had, more than what my grandkids had, and all that other stuff. Um, it's even one of those things to where it's like, um, what was I thinking earlier? I can't remember what it was. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. Um, so let me just go into talking about something else. Not something else entirely. Still on generational curses though. It's like it's like with the patterns that you learn. It's like with you having kids and the next one having kids and the next one having kids, with you teaching them over and over and over again. It's like somewhere down the line, like God is always communicating to us, always talking to us, but it's up to us to decide whether or not we want to listen to what he's saying or do we want to just continue to keep going like we didn't hear anything. So when we choose to obey and listen to what he says, it's like he leads us in the right direction, and we can have change and we can pass that on. When we choose not to, that's when it ends up going left and right, upside down in all different types of ways. And it's like each generation is going to keep seeing nothing but bad, 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 because nobody's heeding to what God is saying. Um, but it's like it takes that one to listen, and once they listen, they start walking the right path, making the right moves. It's like God is going to look down on you and it's going to be pleasing to him because it's like you're listening to him, you're obeying, you're breaking that curse of obedience. Whether or not, if that's the case, I'm not sure, but that's what I'm going to call it. You're breaking the curse of obedience. You're taking heed to what he's saying, so you're trying to make change. You are making change. And so now you're teaching the next ones the same thing. Obedience, 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 obey. Which it doesn't take a lot to do that, but I guess sometimes some people think that it does because others might look at them in a different light, or they might think, oh, you corny because you're doing this, or you following the rules, or you ain't never did nothing bad in your life and all that other stuff. But there's nothing wrong with that. Like I would rather be that way than to be doing something to where I'm always getting in trouble. Never seeing nothing good happen in my life. Like that's a miserable life. You would never be happy. It's like you would never have nothing to look forward to. Even just waking up, you wouldn't even want to wake up because you're like, oh, it's going to be the same thing all over again today. But then it's like you can't really blame nobody but yourself because you're not being obedient. You're just going off doing whatever you want to do. I don't know. Um, I can't really think of too much more to say on that. I know there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to say earlier. Maybe I should have wrote it down just so I can talk about it. Because a lot of stuff just went out of my head. I think it was just me coming on here thinking about talking about it. It was like, oh, okay, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say that. All right, it's going to be like this. And then I come on, it's like, up, out the window. I don't even know. It's crazy. But, oh, wait, let me see. Hello? Hi, Cosmo. Hi, Jenny. You play still a brain rot or grow a garden? Huh? You play still a brain rot or grow a garden? I don't know what that is. What is that, Jenny? Show my face? No, I don't want to show my face today. I don't know. maybe if I come on tomorrow, I'll show my face. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's going to come back to me. Maybe when it comes back to me, I'll come back on because it seriously just went. I don't know where it went to, but it's going to come back. So, I don't know. I think I was on here for enough time. What was that 9 minutes, 55, 56, 59 seconds? Yeah, I'll be back.